Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital spoilers, Nina Reeves may have a surprise passion partner in the near future. Nina may resort to an unexpected man once her life goes wrong. So let's see what happens. Nina's relationship with Willow Corinthos is strained, as GH viewers are aware. Willow has finally come to trust and care about Nina, but her mother is fooling her on several critical topics. For starters, Willow is still unaware that Nina and Drew Kane were dating about the same time Drew fell for Willow. That buried secret is bound to be revealed at some point. Nina also came up with the notion of drugging Drew and starting his crazy night with Jacinda. Drew's scandal will be used against him in the forthcoming custody hearing, therefore Nina's actions could cost Willow her children. Willow will eventually learn about some surprising secrets and turn against Nina for what she has done. Nina and Willow's mother-daughter bond will collapse, and Nina may face prison time for her involvement in the drugging operation. Even if Nina manages to maintain her independence, she will be depressed and in need of comfort. This could be a wonderful opportunity to take Nina's romantic life in a new direction, while also creating more drama. When Rick Lansing initially arrived to Port Charles, it appeared like the drama would focus on a love triangle between Nina, Rick, and Ava Jerome. That did not work out, but it is not too late to reconsider the concept. Nina and Rick were married years ago, but she subsequently discovered he was plotting to seize her riches and had an affair with her mother Madeline Reeves. Even then it was a long time ago, so Nina has no reason to carry a grudge, especially because Rick could be the ideal surprise passion companion. Rick and Ava are currently romantically connected, but their relationship may suffer if their blackmail alliance fails. Once Ava and Rick have parted ways, the stars may align for Rick and Nina to sleep together next. That might renew Nina's feud with Ava and cause some major havoc. Nina has a history of self-sabotage, so she may make matters worse for herself by developing affections for Rick until her life is completely destroyed. According to General Hospital spoilers, Nina will face some challenges anyway, so keep an eye out for all of the terrible news that is on its way. Chris McKenna, who presently plays Jack Brennan in the WSB's Port Charles on General Hospital, claims to have apprehended a criminal. Did the occasionally mysterious actor catch one in real life? Read on to learn more. The capture of a criminal. Chris has been extremely active on social media since taking over for Charles Measure as Jack Brennan. On Thursday night, he took to Instagram again and published a selfie of himself with a woman. In his caption he stated, "Brennan caught a killer. Who was she?" Julie Dove played Connie Viniski on Days of Our Lives. Remember, she was revealed to be the murderer of Li Shin. It was displayed in a flashback scene, revealing that her character was considerably more complex than previously thought. Chris McKenna claims to have caught a criminal. The joking arrest. Chris McKenna caught a killer, but it appeared to be a friendly encounter between him and Julie Dove. He stood with his arm around her and grinned for the selfie. The real-life Jack ended his caption with hashtags to document the crossover meetup. #GH, #Dole, #Connie. Fans of GH and Dole reacted positively to the hilarious tweet, with many laughing emojis arriving. Aside from that, one user commented, "I love this, two very talented people." Here are a few additional thoughts from ABC fans. "It's good to see. Live for yourself. Cute crossover. What's up with Julie these days? Connie Viniski's plot was left open, so it's possible she'll return. However, her current social media activity suggests that she is content. She recently attended the Webby Award presentation. Chris McKenna's companion has also finished filming her role as Grace in Maria Capps' The Lady of the Lake. The film premiered in August of last year. Life has a habit of delivering unexpected curveballs, leaving even the most collected people grasping for stability. Nina, a woman who previously thought she had everything perfectly planned, was surprised by the cosmos. Her world, once a neatly woven tapestry of professional success, love stability, and personal fulfillment, fell apart in what seemed like the blink of an eye. An abrupt job loss, the termination of a long-term relationship, and a developing sense of disillusionment forced her to reconsider all she thought she knew about herself. But just when she felt she'd struck rock bottom, an unlikely figure appeared in her life, sparking a transformation she never expected. Nina had always been a lady who took pride in her independence. She developed her profession from the ground up, refusing to rely on others for her success. Her partnership, while far from perfect, had provided a sense of security, until it didn't. The split was chaotic, leaving her emotionally exhausted and questioning her judgment. Around the same time, corporate downsizing left her without the employment that had previously defined her. The foundations of her identity, professional achievement and love partnership, had broken, leaving her stranded. In the aftermath, Nina retreated, as many people do in times of difficulty. She spent weeks in self-imposed isolation, alternating between fury, grief, and numbness. Friends and relatives gave support, but their well-intentioned advice frequently felt empty. "You'll bounce back," they murmured, or "everything happens for a reason." But Nina wasn't looking for clichés. She was looking for something deeper, a means to reconnect with herself in a world that felt unfamiliar. Then, by chance or maybe fate, she came across an old journal. Flipping over its pages, she discovered entries from years ago, filled with visions she'd forgotten. Among them was a brief reference of a passion she had abandoned in favor of practicality: painting. Nina enjoyed losing herself in colors and brushstrokes as a youth, but as she grew older, she rejected it as a frivolous hobby. Now, with time stretching out in front of her, she wondered if recalling that forgotten love could provide relief. She purchased inexpensive goods and set up a makeshift studio in her apartment's spare room. Her early attempts were sloppy, her abilities rusty. However, with each stroke she felt something change within her. Painting became more than a distraction. It was a lifeline. The act of creating, of transforming blank canvases into something significant, restored her sense of control, which she had forgotten she had lost. However, something was missing. She craved mentorship, someone who could help her hone her skills and push her beyond her own boundaries. Enter Daniel, a recluse artist whose work Nina had admired from a distance. Known for his evocative landscapes and unconventional techniques, he was also notoriously secretive, rarely interacting with the public or accepting students. Nina reached out, driven by desperation and a sudden bravery. To her amazement, he replied. Their initial meeting was tense, with reluctant talk and prolonged silences. However, behind the surface there existed an unspoken agreement. Daniel recognized something in Nina's raw, unpolished work, an emotional honesty that could not be taught. What began as informal mentorship quickly grew into something considerably more significant. Daniel did more than simply teach Nina about color theory and composition. He also challenged her to face the feelings she had suppressed. She used painting to process her sadness, rage, and worries. Daniel, for his part, was re-energized by her zeal, rekindling his own creative spark after years of lethargy. Their dynamic was unique, part teacher-student, part collaborator, and part kindred souls navigating their own storms. As the weeks progressed into months, Nina's work began to receive attention. A local gallery owner was intrigued with her emerging style and invited her to participate in a group exhibition. The recognition was encouraging, but more importantly, it marked a watershed moment in her personal path. She was no longer defined by what she had lost but by what she was producing. Daniel, too, found himself re-entering the spotlight, his partnership with Nina sparking a new series of pieces that reviewers acclaimed as his finest in years. Their connection, while immensely important, wasn't without complications. Rumors circulated regarding the nature of their relationship. Were they simply artistic partners, or was there something more? Nina and Daniel never addressed the topic explicitly, preferring to let their work speak for itself. The truth was that labels felt insufficient. What they shared went beyond typical categories, founded in mutual respect, creative synergy, and an unwavering conviction in each other's abilities. For Nina, the voyage was about more than rekindling a lost passion. It was about reconstructing herself from the ground up. She had begun the relationship with Daniel shattered and uncertain, but through art, she discovered a means to rebuild herself, stronger and more self-aware than before. Daniel, too, had reached a crossroads, his creativity hampered by years of solitude. In mentoring Nina, he rediscovers his voice. The audience, of course, was enthralled by the tale. A woman reinventing herself after sorrow, an intriguing artist rising from the shadows. These were the types of stories that made headlines. But for Nina and Daniel, the true narrative was quieter, evolving in late-night painting sessions, shared silences, and the unspoken knowledge that the most deep connections can happen when we least expect them. Life's upheavals had pushed Nina to her knees, but in her weakness, she discovered something extraordinary. She had turned to art as an escape, only to discover that it held the key to her freedom. And in Daniel, she discovered not just a teacher or a companion, but a mirror. Someone who mirrored back the strength she didn't realize she possessed. The original headline's question, "Turns to this man after life blows up?" implies a straightforward response. But Nina's story never revolved around finding a man to save her. It was about discovering oneself, and in doing so, recognizing the people who help us recognize our own potential. Daniel did not fix Nina's life. Instead, he demonstrated to her that she was capable of doing it on her own. And in a culture that frequently reduces transformation to sensational soundbites, this truth was the most startling of all. While there, BLQ apologizes for telling Maxie that she had to pick between having her and Lulu as friends. Maxie accepts the apologies and admits that she was never going to pick. Brooklyn then informs her that she and Chase are taking measures towards adoption. Gio arrives and is still attempting to recover from Rocco's alcohol poisoning. He plays his violin as Chase and Anna dance tango. Chase then takes his wife for a spin around the floor while Gio plays. General Hospital recap May 12th. Sunny weighs Sidwell's offer with Jason and Lulu on a mission. Professor Dalton chooses his assistant. Emma Drake has been summoned to Professor Dalton's office, believing that she has secured the position as his summer research assistant. Instead, he tells her that he cannot have a research assistant who is unable to construct a data model. Emma is astounded when he shows her the corrupt file she has turned in. Emma is devastated as she leaves. Meanwhile, Jocelyn Jax meets with her mother, Carly Spencer, at the Metro Court to catch up. Carly updates her on Sunny's heart operation, and then they are interrupted by Jack Brennan. He was only come to say hello, but Carly begs him to join them. Joss needs to leave to see Professor Dalton, so Carly stays with Jack while he tells her how important she is to him. Joss enters Dalton's office, and after expressing her how impressed he is with her work, he offers her the position of research assistant, as long as she agrees to sign an NDA. Emma decides to present the professor an earlier file of her work as proof that it was completed. When she enters his door, she discovers Joss filing folders away. General Hospital recap May 12th. Sunny weighs Sidwell's offer with Jason and Lulu on a mission. Sunny sees Sidwell's offer as his way out of business. Jason Morgan arrives at Sunny's and learns about Jen's offer to buy the piers. Sunny dislikes it, but he believes that if they hand over their region to Sidwell, they would be able to leave the business without repercussions. They can also invest money in a traditional firm and start over that way. Jason suspects it's a setup. They have always preserved the shoreline, and if they don't, all 5 families will move in. Sunny also implies that they no longer have to safeguard anything. If Sidwell is a tyrant, they may just let the feds move in on him. Sunny explains that in order to make the deal, he needs to be certain that Sidwell isn't the one attempting to kill him. Laura arrives after Jason has left. Sunny informs her that he might let Sidwell buy the piers because it would resolve both of their issues. General Hospital recap May 12th. Sunny weighs Sidwell's offer with Jason and Lulu on a mission. Tracy wants Lulu to end the adoption story. Tracy would eventually catch up with Lulu. Now that she understands about the kid Brooklyn gave up for adoption, she is determined to fight for her. Tracy informs Lulu that while spying in Martin Gray's room, she discovered information about Brooklyn's baby, and has been tormenting her ever since. Lulu tries to excuse her conduct, reminding Tracy that the adoption item was assigned to her by the newspaper rather than her. Tracy maintains that she should quit adding to BLQ's workload, and inform her editor that she has to do something else. She should be more understanding because she, too, was a pregnant adolescent. Lulu agrees to speak with her editor, but believes the father should be aware that he has a child out there. Before departing, Lulu grabs Carly at another table and informs her that she needs to speak with her quietly. Once at her residence, Lulu informs Carly that they must locate Dante's son since either Lulu or her mother is lying. Meanwhile, Jason meets with Tracy, who urges him to find her great-grandson. Romantic paths for Jason. These women offer true love. Jason has always been a man of depth, passion, and loyalty, Yet love has escaped him in unexpected ways. He's looking for a mate who truly understands him, someone who can complement his skills, soothe his concerns, and support him through life's obstacles. Among the many women he has met, 5 stand out as prospective soulmates, each bringing a particular type of love that may complete him in ways he has only imagined. According to General Hospital spoilers, Nina Reeves may have a surprise passion partner in the near future. Nina may resort to an unexpected man once her life goes wrong. So let's see what happens. Nina's relationship with Willow Corinthos is strained, as GH viewers are aware. Willow has finally come to trust and care about Nina, but her mother is fooling her on several critical topics. For starters, Willow is still unaware that Nina and Drew Kane were dating about the same time Drew fell for Willow. That buried secret is bound to be revealed at some point. Nina also came up with the notion of drugging Drew and starting his crazy night with Jacinda. Drew's scandal will be used against him in the forthcoming custody hearing, therefore Nina's actions could cost Willow her children. Willow will eventually learn about some surprising secrets and turn against Nina for what she has done. Nina and Willow's mother-daughter bond will collapse, and Nina may face prison time for her involvement in the drugging operation. Even if Nina manages to maintain her independence, she will be depressed and in need of comfort. This could be a wonderful opportunity to take Nina's romantic life in a new direction, while also creating more drama. When Rick Lansing initially arrived to Port Charles, it appeared like the drama would focus on a love triangle between Nina, Rick, and Ava Jerome. That did not work out, but it is not too late to reconsider the concept. Nina and Rick were married years ago, but she subsequently discovered he was plotting to seize her riches and had an affair with her mother Madeline Reeves. Even then it was a long time ago, so Nina has no reason to carry a grudge, especially because Rick could be the ideal surprise passion companion. Rick and Ava are currently romantically connected, but their relationship may suffer if their blackmail alliance fails. Once Ava and Rick have parted ways, the stars may align for Rick and Nina to sleep together next. That might renew Nina's feud with Ava and cause some major havoc. Nina has a history of self-sabotage, so she may make matters worse for herself by developing affections for Rick until her life is completely destroyed. According to General Hospital spoilers, Nina will face some challenges anyway, so keep an eye out for all of the terrible news that is on its way. Nina had always thought of herself as a lady of regularity, someone who thrived on consistency and structure. Her days were methodically planned, her goals specified, and her future appeared to be fixed in stone. That was until fate, in its unpredictable way, threw her a curveball, shattering the neatly crafted universe she had created around herself. Her separation with her long-term boyfriend was more than simply a personal setback. It was a seismic upheaval that made her reconsider everything she thought she understood about love, trust, and her own identity. In the aftermath, she found herself adrift, dealing with feelings she had never expected to feel. The grief was intense, the loneliness was crushing, and the future, which had previously been so clear, now appeared to be a dense cloud. Nina lived like a ghost for weeks, going through the motions but feeling completely disconnected from her surroundings. Friends and relatives expressed their support, but their comments, while well-intentioned, were empty. She knew they cared, but no amount of sorrow could fill the vacuum left by the loss of the person she had hoped to spend her life with. During this period of profound vulnerability, she came across something or someone unexpected. His name was Daniel, and she had known him for years but had never considered him romantically. He was a friend of a friend, with whom she would occasionally exchange niceties at social functions but never engage beyond superficial conversation. Daniel was unlike the guys she had previously dated. He was quieter, more introspective, and had a serene temperament that contrasted sharply with the high-energy personalities she had always preferred. However, as fate would have it, it was Daniel who reached out to her in her darkest times, not with sympathy, but with a quiet understanding that struck a deep chord with her. Their bond began innocently enough, a casual coffee meeting that turned into hours of talk. Nina found herself opening up to him in ways she hadn't done with anyone else, including her closest friends. Something about Daniel's presence made her feel protected, as if she didn't have to put on a brave face or pretend everything was fine when it wasn't. He listened without passing judgment, provided insights without lecturing, and most crucially made her laugh, something she hadn't done for what felt like an eternity. As the weeks progressed into months, Nina began to detect a change within herself. The anguish that had previously seemed insurmountable began to fade, replaced by a growing sensation of wonder and, dare she say it, exhilaration. Daniel had shown her a world she had never seen before. One full of subtle, unexpected pleasures. He was passionate about things she had never considered. Obscure indie flicks, late-night astronomy, and the art of brewing the perfect cup of tea. These were ordinary pleasures, but in his eyes, they transformed into something magical. What startled Nina the most was her growing affection for him. It was not anything she had intended or even deliberately permitted to happen. In fact, the prospect of falling for someone so soon after her separation scared her. Was she merely recovering? Was she using Daniel as an escape from her pain? These questions haunted her, putting doubt on the feelings she couldn't deny. But as they spent more time together, it became more difficult to reject what was developing between them. Daniel, for his part, never pressed her. He seemed satisfied to go at her pace, never asking for more than she was willing to offer. His tolerance just increased her feelings for him, and Nina gradually began to let go of her concerns. She discovered that love could not be neatly organized or controlled. It was messy, unpredictable, and often arrived unexpectedly. The turning point occurred one evening as they sat on his rooftop, covered in blankets and sipping hot chocolate. The city lights stretched out ahead of them, like a sea of flashing stars against the night sky. Daniel looked at her, his expression enigmatic, and continued, "You don't have to have everything sorted out, you know. Sometimes the best things in life happen unexpectedly." Nina felt something click inside her at that exact moment. She had spent so much time attempting to restore the life she had lost that she hadn't given herself the chance to contemplate the idea that something even greater was waiting for her. Daniel was more than simply a rebound or a distraction. He had quietly and steadfastly shown her what it meant to be truly recognized and valued. Their relationship progressed naturally from that point forward. There were no great declarations or theatrical gestures, only a steady building friendship based on mutual respect and understanding. Nina found herself embracing life's volatility in ways she had never experienced before. She started new interests, traveled to places she'd always wanted to go, and most crucially, allowed herself to be vulnerable in love again. According to General Hospital spoilers, Jason Morgan has 5 romantic paths. Thus these women may provide him a chance at genuine love. Let's talk about some potential love interest alternatives for Jason, and try to map out a road to happiness for him. 1. Sasha Gilmore Corbin. Jason has been bonding with Sasha Gilmore Corbin as a friend and pretend baby daddy, but many fans believe there is more to come. Could Sasha and Jason's developing friendship lead to a romantic relationship? Although many fans were initially opposed to a Jason and Sasha pairing, it appears that some GH viewers are beginning to warm up to it. Could you envision Jason achieving true romantic pleasure with Sasha as this story progresses? 2. Anna Devane. For a moment, it appeared that the program was set to go all in on a Jason and Anna Devane pairing, but they pulled back following their kiss in Africa. Nonetheless, Jason maintains an unusual bond with Anna, and they've admitted to understanding each other in a manner that no one else does. The authors set the stage for some sizzle when Jason and Anna agreed to meet discreetly in his room above Bobby's if they ever needed to talk. Is this a sign that the program isn't done with Anna and Jason's possible romance? Could some passion be on the horizon? 3. Carly Spencer. Jason and Carly Spencer are long-standing friends, but the show let them to fall for one another when Sonny Corinthos was assumed dead and residing in Nixon Falls. Carly and Jason even went through a wedding ceremony, which became partly about presenting a united front for mob purposes, and partly about the genuine sentiments that had formed. Some fans are still hoping for Jason and Carly's romance to rekindle, so that possibility is always open. Carly and Jason have decided that they like their relationship as it is, but it could change in the future. 4. Returning from the grave Sam McCall. In a perfect world, many of us would like to see Jason team up with a resurrected Sam McCall. Even the worst fatal consequences can be reversed with a soap, so keep that in mind. If GH ever makes a deal for Kelly Monaco's return or even recasts the role, a Jason and Sam reunion could be a possibility. Sam was Jason's true love, therefore no other romantic option could ever genuinely rival. 5. Brand new love interest. Of course, the program might eventually cast a new love interest for Jason. We can think of one simple writing method that would work here if Jason had a girlfriend while undercover as Alan Jacobs. That girlfriend may ultimately track Jason down in his actual life and admit she can't live without him. Jason may reconcile with his previous flame and find himself defending her against doubters like Carly, who we all know would disapprove. According to General Hospital spoilers, Jason's love life may be in for some changes in the near future, so stay tuned for updates on any romantic developments. Carly warns Lulu about Sunny's shocking decision and Jason's temptation. General Hospital teasers indicate that a preview clip has been posted for Tuesday, May 13, 2025. Emma Scorpio Drake is accusing Jocelyn Jacks of stealing her project. Carly Spencer attempts to stop Lulu Spencer. Jason Morgan also faces a major temptation. Continue reading to learn more about what will happen in today's episode of ABC soap drama. Emma Scorpio Drake's accusations. Let's start with Emma, who was surprised to learn that Joss has the research assistant post she worked so hard for. Emma will turn to Anna and accuse Joss of stealing the gig. However, Anna will tell Emma that she cannot go around making such charges. Of course, Anna is unaware that this is not an unfounded claim. At the same time, nobody is aware that Joss is a WSB agent working on a case. Read more. Find out what happened in the last episode of GH. Jocelyn Jack's promise. Meanwhile, Joss will make some sort of pledge. Vaughn or Jack Brennan may be concerned that Emma may cause a problem. However, Jocelyn may reassure both of them that Emma will not be a problem. Joss could be underestimating Emma, though. Read this. Keep up with all the comings and goings this week. Curtis Ashford is suspicious. According to General Hospital teasers for the upcoming episode, Curtis Ashford will suspect Portia Robinson of deception. Portia almost tripped when she said she had to defend Drew Kane. Curtis asked her to elaborate, and she immediately covered. Curtis is aware that his wife is hiding something. Curtis wants to discuss his marriage with Jordan Ashford, but she shuts him down. Jordan's desire to avoid involvement is understandable given that they are ex-partners. Read this. General Hospital's Maurice Bernard opens out about his fear of never acting again. Tuesday, May 13, 2025. At the hospital, Trina Robinson will be taken off guard. Trina will dispute her mother's desire for Curtis and Drew to find harmony. This may also provide Portia the opportunity to inquire about Kai Taylor. Tracy Quartermaine will also resume her conversation with Jason. Tracy, who learned about the adoption secret, wants Jason to find her great-grandson. It will be an attractive offer because this transaction will benefit Sonny Corinthos. Meanwhile, Sonny will defend his decision before Laura Collins. In a preview clip, Sonny informs the mayor that sometimes you have to make a deal with the devil. Also, Carly tries to persuade Lulu that she is making a major mistake. Have you checked out General Hospital today, Monday, May 12, 2025? If not, there is a handy recap below. Laura Collins asked Jordan Ashford to meet her at her daughter Lulu Spencer's new home. They can't be seen together. Therefore, this might be the safest place for them to chat. Jordan tells Laura about the business meeting with Jen Sidwell, Drew Kane, and Tracy Quartermaine, and how everyone has the same aim of getting Sonny Corinthos out of town. She adds they all want Ezra Boyle to be the next mayor of Port Charles. Laura is taken aback to realize that Tracy is no longer in her corner, which she considers worrisome given her level of influence. Jordan then informs her that Jen's may be the answer to her prayers, as he has made Sonny a formal offer to buy the piers. If he accepts it, there is no need for the referendum vote. Laura informs out that if Sonny accepts the offer, Vicious Sidwell becomes the new crime boss. General Hospital recap May 12th. Sonny weighs Sidwell's offer with Jason and Lulu on a mission. Curtis is becoming suspicious about Portia. Drew continues to blackmail Portia Robinson, and she must get her husband, Curtis Ashford, to back off of him. Curtis is about to publish an expose on Drew and the broader use of ketamine as a party drug, and Portia is attempting in vain to stop him. She urges that he contact with a lawyer before coming after Drew publicly. Curtis notices that Portia is acting strangely and appears to be siding with Drew. He phones Travis at Aurora and instructs him to put the Drew story on hold for the time being, before meeting up with Jordan. Curtis informs her that he believes Portia is lying to him as they sit down at a table. Brooke Lynn is producing the nurses' ball. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine, Maxie Jones, Harrison Chase, and Anna Devane are all waiting for Gio Palmieri, so they can practice a tango for the ball.